Welcome to Fantasy Sports Live, brought to you by DraftDay.com. I'm Crazy Gaby, and I'm here to tell you about something important. You see, today is Thursday. Now, that might not mean much to you at first, but with a very slow evening slate of Major League Baseball games, the large tournaments become kind of interesting. What I mean is, it's a great night to go off the board, way off the radar when you choose your picks. Anytime the player pool gets extremely small, everybody overlaps and is on the same players. That means if you go off the board on 1, 2, 3 of your picks, they end up hitting a home run, a couple of doubles, some RBIs, something like that. You have a very good shot at winning one of these large tournaments, or at least finishing very high up in the cash. Keep that in mind. The less options, the more overlap, the better chance you have of swerving in a different direction and taking down a big tournament. See right here, I got a little pine tar on my neck. Michael Pineda, he inspired me. You see, I realized it's much easier for me to grip my mouse and move it around here and, all this other stuff if I have some pine tar on my hand. So, Michael Pineda, thank you very much for the inspiration. Unfortunately, it looks like he is going to be banned for 10 games. For those of you counting at home, that is the pitcher equivalent of 2 starts. And, you can't do that. The weird thing is, there was a lot of speculation going around last time he faced the Red Sox that he was using pine tar. He claimed it was a mixture of dirt and spit, then came out and did the same thing again. I don't know if these guys just don't realize that the stuff is being filmed, that they're on television, but, can you really be that dumb? If everybody suspects you have pine tar, and you come out on live national television again, I don't know what the hell's going on, but suffice to say, that situation has now been dealt with. I doubt we'll see him do it again this season. Arnoldus Chapman and Clayton Kershaw are both close to returning. Of course, Chapman, that extremely scary injury, got bonked in the side of the head by Salvador Perez's line drive. Just so happy that he's okay. That could have been a career-ending injury. It looks like, for all we can read, he is doing extremely well. Looks impressive against batters in practice. He should be on the field in no time. The Clayton Kershaw return from injury, though, a little more pertinent to daily fantasy players. This is one of the best starters in all of DFS. When he comes back, I'm not even going to wait to see a game from him. I know how good he is. I'm locking him into my lineups right away. You should too. Houston Rockets are in big trouble. They just dropped 2 at home. Now they're going back to Portland for 2 more. This could be the series, ladies and gentlemen. As everyone knows, the Portland Trailblazers play significantly better at home. Although I'm not sure how LaMarcus Aldridge could possibly play better. Dude's putting up 40-plus points, real-life points, every single night. That means like 50, 60 fantasy points. Right now, you gotta target this guy if you're playing in any playoff leagues. But, James Harden, you gotta step up, dude. Dwight Howard is holding up his end of the deal. Except for a missed rebound in Game 1. He's looked impressive. You, sir, have not been. So, James Harden, piece of advice. Unless you want to be watching the second round of the playoffs from your couch, kind of like I do, you better get out there and work your ass off. You're giving beards everywhere a bad name, man. Stop it. Just stop. The Spurs looked unusually human last night against the Dallas Mavericks as they could not get anything going, and you could tell Greg Popovich was frustrated as hell. He was tinkering with that lineup all game. This guy in, this guy out. You get in there, we'll try this combination of players. Except for Manu Ginobili, there was absolutely no offense going on. Now, I still don't expect that the Dallas Mavericks can take 4 games from the San Antonio Spurs. I just don't think they have the roster to do it. But this should be a wake-up call for the San Antonio Spurs that they can't just coast through the Western Conference playoffs like some people were predicting them to do. And, of course, the Miami Heat did what the Miami Heat do. No use wasting time talking about it. You know who they are. They weren't going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. I actually think the Bobcats are going to take 1 or 2 of these games back in Charlotte, but ultimately, it's going to go to the Heat, and it's not going to matter. Looking over at baseball tonight, you have 2 excellent pitchers on the mound against 2 very terrible teams. Luckily enough, since you need to roster 2 starting pitchers, and there's only 10 available pitchers to begin with. So, first of all, Scott Kazmir at $17,050 against Houston. He's in Houston, so not quite as good as if he was pitching in Oakland, but let me tell you something. The Houston Astros just phone it in. Once again, their season pretty much over before it already began. And Kazmir is going to get, I'd say, at least 7 or 8 Ks tonight. There's a potential for double-digit strikeouts. You got to target him. The other hurler we're going to be looking at is Jordan Zimmerman for $12,900. He is at home against San Diego, and San Diego, again, just a very bad offense. I have absolutely no faith whatsoever, and except for one kind of poor start by Jordan Zimmerman, he's been very serviceable in his starts this season, so I'm comfortable rostering him, especially at this price. It opens up the salary cap for a lot of hitters I might not have been able to afford. Who are those hitters, you say? Well, I'm going to give you two pieces of advice. I would take hitters from the Yankees-Red Sox game and the Orioles-Blue Jays game tonight. Those are really going to be the only two places I'm targeting bats. I'll take a lone bat over here, a lone bat over there, kind of like what I was talking about with the GPP outside the box plays. But as far as the backbone of my rosters are concerned, those are the two matchups you have to target this evening. Mike Napoli for 11,150 is on fire right now, his last three games. And he's facing off against CC Sabathia. Now, Sabathia had a decent outing last time, but if you look at the whole body of work the past two seasons, the guy is just done for. He's washed up. He doesn't have what he used to have. I am going to be relying heavily on Boston Red Sox right-handed bats against him this evening. Melky Cabrera, the unsung most valuable player of this young season. I mean, the dude is just putting in work, night in and night out. 9,700 is a steal for this guy against Bud Norris in the Rogers Center, which inflates home run percentages by around 25%. You gotta target him tonight. He's an outfielder that, to me, is pretty much a must-play. Under 10K for a guy of his particular skill set at this point in the season and this sort of environment with a run-scoring likelihood this high, I don't think there's any way you avoid him in your cash games. My question of the day for you is, who is in more trouble, the Bulls or the Rockets? I don't know which one. It's tough for me to decide. The Bulls are just so tenacious, but it seems like they've dug themselves an unmanageable hole. And the Rockets are just a better team than the Blazers, I believe at least. So I feel like they could turn it on and really kick up the volume at any moment. I'm not too sure. I want to know your thoughts. Let's discuss it below. Leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. If for nothing else than the beard, please like and subscribe. Now, you probably want daily fantasy goodness delivered to you as soon as it's available. That's a very compelling argument for liking and subscribing. But come on, you want to see this every day. I know you do. Don't lie. Thanks for watching Fantasy Sports Live. I am Crazy Gaby reminding you to be a man. Grow a beard.